Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. We often hear about the phrase, chosen ones, and it almost sounds like a myth, a legend. But what if I told you that the chosen ones aren't born, they're made? They're forged through a series of tests that most people never even recognize. These tests are not physical, not something you can see with your eyes or measure with tools. They are spiritual, mental, and emotional, and they are the hardest challenges one can face. Few people go through them, even fewer pass. But those who do, they emerge forever changed. You see, life itself is a test, but not everyone gets the same test. There are levels to this, and the deeper you go, the more intense the challenges become. The chosen ones are those who are willing to face the hardest tests, not because they want to, but because they have no other choice. They feel this deep, unshakable pull, an inner calling that tells them, you must go through this. It's not optional, and it's not glamorous, either. These tests will push you to the edge, make you question everything, even who you think you are. But if you can endure them, you will come out the other side transformed. The first test begins when you are asked to confront the truth of who you truly are. We spend so much time building up an image of ourselves, a mask that we show to the world. We define ourselves by our jobs, our relationships, our possessions. But the first test strips all of that away. It forces you to look in the mirror and see yourself without the mask. This moment is terrifying for most people because it's like staring into the abyss. Who are you when you're not being defined by the external world? Who are you when everything you thought you were is stripped away? Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. Many people can't handle this first test. They turn back. They retreat into the comfort of their illusions. But the chosen ones, those who are destined for something greater, they don't turn away. They stand there, staring into the mirror, into the abyss, and they ask themselves the hardest question: who am I, really? Have you ever asked yourself that? Not as a fleeting thought, but as a deep, burning question that won't let go until you find the answer. The second test is the test of isolation. We live in a world where we are constantly surrounded by noise, social media, work, friends, family. But to pass this test, you must be willing to be alone. Not just physically alone, but mentally and emotionally alone. You must be willing to sit with yourself, in the silence, to confront your own thoughts, your fears, your desires. And in that silence, you will begin to hear something else, a voice that has always been there but has been drowned out by the noise of the world. This is your inner voice, your true self, calling out to you. Can you hear it? Most people are afraid of silence because they are afraid of what they might hear. But the chosen ones embrace it. They know that in the silence lies the truth. You see, the hardest tests are not the ones that challenge your body, but the ones that challenge your soul. And the third test is perhaps the most difficult for many people. It is the test of letting go. We hold on to so much in life: grudges, expectations, disappointments. We carry the weight of the past on our shoulders, and it drags us down. But to pass this test, you must be willing to let go of everything, to release your attachment to outcomes, to people, to things. This doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop clinging. You trust that whatever is meant for you will come to you, and what is not meant for you will fall away. Letting go is not an act of weakness, it is an act of immense strength. But here's the thing: letting go doesn't happen all at once. It's a process. You have to constantly remind yourself to release, to trust. And just when you think you've mastered it, life throws something at you that makes you want to cling again. It's in these moments that you must ask yourself, am I willing to let go even of this? How much are you willing to release in order to be free? If you've made it through the first three tests, you've already begun to transform. But the journey doesn't get easier from here. In fact, it only gets harder. The fourth test is one that has broken even the strongest of souls. It is known as the dark night of the soul. This is the test where everything you thought you knew, everything you believed in, is turned upside down. It's as if the universe itself is testing you, asking, how much darkness can you endure before you lose your light? In the dark night of the soul, you are plunged into a period of intense inner turmoil. It feels like the entire world is crumbling around you. Relationships fall apart, career paths vanish, your sense of purpose disintegrates, and you are left with nothing but questions. Why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? And most importantly, will I ever make it out of this darkness? But here's the secret, the dark night of the soul is not a punishment, it's a purification. It's a necessary phase in your spiritual evolution. The darkness is not there to destroy you, but to strip away everything that is not truly you. It is in the darkest moments that you find your deepest light. But only if you can endure. Most people, when faced with this test, fall into despair. They give up. They lose themselves in the darkness. But the chosen ones, they don't lose hope. They don't give in to despair. They understand that the darkness is temporary, that it's a phase. They keep moving forward, even when they can't see the path ahead. They trust that there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if they can't see it yet. But let me ask you this, how do you react when everything falls apart? Do you panic? Do you try to cling to the pieces of your life that are crumbling, desperately trying to hold them together? Or do you let them fall, trusting that whatever is meant to stay will stay, and whatever is meant to go will go? The fifth test is the test of faith. Not faith in the religious sense, but faith in yourself, in the universe, in life itself. When you are in the dark night of the soul, you must have faith that the darkness is not permanent, that there is a greater plan at work, even if you can't see it. This is perhaps one of the hardest tests because it requires you to believe in something you cannot see, something you cannot prove. It requires you to trust in the unseen, to trust that everything is happening for a reason, even if that reason is not clear to you yet. Faith is not blind. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is okay. Faith is about acknowledging the pain, feeling it fully, and still choosing to believe that there is a purpose to it. It's about trusting that the universe is not against you, but working for you, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. And here's the thing, when you are in the dark night of the soul, your faith will be tested over and over again. You will be tempted to lose hope, to give up, to believe that the darkness is all there is. But the chosen ones endure. They hold on to their faith, even when it feels like there is nothing left to hold on to. They keep moving forward, even when every step feels like it's taking them deeper into the darkness. So, let me ask you, how strong is your faith? Can you hold on to it when everything around you is falling apart? Can you trust in the unseen, in the unknown, even when the path ahead is dark? At some point, when you've been in the dark long enough, when you've wrestled with the questions, the doubts, the fears, you come to a precipice. This is where the sixth test begins, the test of surrender. If you've made it this far, you've already proven that you are strong, resilient, and capable of enduring tremendous pain and uncertainty. But this test isn't about strength, it's about giving up control. It's about surrendering to the flow of life, to the forces that are far greater than your individual will. And this, in many ways, is the hardest test of all. You see, we humans love to be in control. We plan, we organize, we strategize. We try to shape our lives, our futures, our relationships according to our desires and expectations. But life doesn't always follow our plans. In fact, more often than not, it takes us in directions we never anticipated. Sometimes painful, sometimes joyful, often mysterious. The chosen ones are those who understand that control is an illusion. They understand that there is a greater intelligence at work, a force that knows far more than the limited human mind ever could. And they are willing to surrender to that force, to let go of their need to control the outcome. But surrender doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring or striving. It means you stop resisting. It means you stop fighting against the current of life, and instead, you allow yourself to be carried by it. Imagine you're swimming in a river. If you try to swim upstream, against the current, you'll exhaust yourself and get nowhere. But if you surrender to the flow of the river, you'll be carried effortlessly to where you need to go. This is what surrendering to life is like. In this test, you will be asked to let go of more than just your plans. You may be asked to let go of your identity, your ego, the very idea of who you think you are. You may be asked to surrender your desires, your attachments, even your dreams. This kind of surrender is not something that happens overnight. It's a process, one that requires trust. Trust in life, trust in yourself, trust in the greater plan that is unfolding, even if you cannot see it. Consider this: how much of your life do you spend trying to control things? How often do you resist the way things are, wishing they were different? What would happen if you stopped resisting? What would happen if you let go of your need to control every outcome and simply trusted that whatever happens is exactly what is meant to happen? The test of surrender is not about weakness, it's about strength. The strength to let go. It's about courage, the courage to trust the unknown. Most people will never pass this test because surrender feels like losing. It feels like giving up. But the chosen ones know that surrender is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the moment when you finally step into the flow of life, when you stop struggling and start allowing life to guide you. Surrendering to life doesn't mean you give up your power. On the contrary, it means you align yourself with a power far greater than your own. It means you tap into the infinite intelligence of the universe, the intelligence that knows exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. But to access that power, you must first let go of the illusion that you are in control. Let me ask you this: can you surrender? Can you let go of your need to control every aspect of your life? Can you trust that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't? This is the test that separates the chosen ones from the rest. It's the test that requires you to relinquish your grip on the steering wheel and allow life to take you where you need to go. And here's the paradox: when you surrender, when you let go of the need to control, you actually gain more control. But it's not the kind of control you think. It's not the control of manipulating outcomes or forcing things to go your way. It's the control that comes from being in harmony with life, from being in alignment with the flow of the universe. When you are in that state of surrender, everything unfolds effortlessly, and you find yourself exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. But that kind of surrender requires trust. It requires faith. It requires you to step into the unknown, into the mystery of life, without needing to know all the answers. Can you do that? Can you step into the unknown and trust that you will be guided, that you will be supported, even when you cannot see the path ahead? This is the test of surrender. And it is one of the final tests that the chosen ones must endure. Only those who can truly let go, who can truly surrender to the flow of life, will pass this test. And those who do will find that life has far more in store for them than they ever could have imagined. If you've come this far, if you've passed the test of surrender, you are already among the few who have endured the hardest trials. But there is one final test that remains. And it is the most profound of all. It is the test of awakening, the moment when you finally understand your purpose, when you see the ultimate truth that has been guiding you all along. The final test is not a test of endurance, but of realization. It's not about what you can do, but about what you can see. This is the moment when the veil is lifted, and you are able to see the world, and yourself, as they truly are. It's the moment when you awaken to your purpose, when you understand why you have gone through all the tests, why you have endured the pain, the darkness, the uncertainty. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are special. They are chosen because they have chosen to awaken. They have chosen to see the truth, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it challenges everything they've believed. And the truth that they awaken to is this: you are not separate from life. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are life itself, expressing itself through a unique form, through a unique journey. The final test is about realizing that all the struggles, all the tests, were designed to bring you closer to this truth. They were designed to strip away the illusions, the false identities, the egoic desires, so that you could see the deeper reality that lies beneath it all. And that reality is this: you are here for a reason. You are here because life itself wanted to experience itself through you. Your purpose is not something you have to find outside of yourself, it's something you are already living every moment of every day. The final test asks you to awaken to this truth, to see that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. And when you awaken to this truth, everything changes. You no longer feel the need to control, because you understand that life is already unfolding perfectly. You no longer feel the need to search for your purpose, because you realize that your purpose is simply to be, to experience, to express life in whatever way feels most true to you. But this awakening is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of a new one. Once you have passed this final test, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the mind, the ego, the fears. You are free. Free to live your life with purpose, with meaning, with joy. Free to create, to love, to explore, without the weight of fear or doubt. This is the gift of the final test. This is the reward for enduring the hardest tests that only the chosen ones face. And now I ask you, are you ready to awaken? Are you ready to see the truth of who you are and why you are here? The journey is not easy. The tests are not easy. But if you can endure them, if you can pass through the darkness, the uncertainty, the pain, you will find that what awaits you on the other side is beyond anything you could have ever imagined. This is the path of the chosen ones. It is not a path for the faint of heart. It is a path for those who are willing to face the hardest tests, to endure the deepest challenges, and to come out the other side awakened, transformed, and free. And now the question is, are you one of the chosen ones? Can you imagine for a moment that your soul chose your family before you were born? Not in a random, chaotic way, but with the precision of a master artist. Your soul looked at this life, at the challenges ahead, and decided, this is where I will grow. This is where I will awaken. And yet, here you are, questioning why you were placed in a family that feels like a battlefield. Why you were raised in an environment that seemed to chip away at your spirit when it should have been protecting it. I've been there. You've been there. And here's the truth, being born into a toxic family is not a punishment. It's not karma coming back to haunt you. It's a gift. A monumental, life-altering, paradigm-shifting gift. But I know it doesn't feel like that. Not yet. So, let's go deep together into the heart of this mystery and uncover the profound wisdom hidden within your pain. You see, toxic families are like fire. They burn. They hurt. They leave scars. But they also forge. They temper your soul like steel. They strip away the illusions you might have carried about life being easy or fair. And they force you to confront the raw, unfiltered truth of the human condition. Toxic families are the perfect training ground for chosen ones. Because chosen ones are here to break cycles. You're not here to live a normal life. You're here to transcend. But why? Why would your soul choose to be born into a family that feels so broken? Let's start with this, the toxicity you were born into is not random. It's ancestral. It's generational. It's the accumulation of unhealed wounds, unspoken truths, and unconscious patterns passed down through your lineage. And you, my friend, were born to stop it. Think about that for a moment. Let it sink in. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out, to rise above, to heal. Not just yourself, but the generations that came before you and the generations that will come after you. That's what makes you the chosen one. But here's the hard part, to break a cycle, you